What's going on, melon farmers? D-Mac here, back with another little update for the Quebec City Stallions franchise mode, where today I really want to take everybody on a little bit of a deep dive into our prospect pool. So, if we look at all the guys on our team, this is 5 years in, by the way. If we go and look at all of the prospects on our team that should be coming up to the National Hockey League very, very soon, the Quebec City Stallions have done very, very well at the draft. We got Jay Martin, the 20-year-old top 4 D-man, who played 7 games for us earlier this season because of injury problems on the team. He's 20 years old, taken 25th overall 2.5 years ago. It's looking like even as early as next season, he's very likely going to be number 5, number 6 defenseman. So again, like I said, 2.5 years ago, we took him 25th overall in the first round. I mean, he's a great player. He's big, 6'4", 222. After that, we move on to PETRILAINEN, who is playing for Belleville, our AHL affiliate team. He's playing on the third line for them. He has 24 points in 34 games, having a great year. He's another one, was taken 31st overall 3.5 years ago. 5'10", 187, good playmaking center. The speed is coming up. The passing, the puck control is all phenomenal. The defense is pretty much the weakest part of his game. Discipline's fine. I got no problem with that. Durability's fine. He does have not the hardest shot, but a relatively accurate shot, and he has halfway decent speed, you know? But it's that passing and it's that puck control that is definitely going to make him just a lethal player. And if he continues to play this way for Belleville, which, I was going to say, this is his second year in Belleville this year. Last year was not a good one for him. We got him out of Liga, and this year he's finally turning it on. He's really becoming an offensive threat. He's got that top 6 forward potential. He's already 74 overall, so he very well could jump right up to the NHL as well next year. If he can jump to 77, 78 overall, could be a fourth line center for us for a year or so before truly making the leap up into the lineup a little farther. After that, we move on to Oliver Dupuis. Oliver Dupuis is another one. 6 feet tall, 173 pounds, 21 years old. He has low top 9 forward potential. He's 74 overall. And 3.5 years ago, we drafted him in the 3rd round. Look at the speed. He has 86 speed, 87 acceleration. Durability is at 97. But look at his defense. Look at his hand-eye. Not the greatest guy with the puck. Discipline's halfway decent. Defense is phenomenal. He's a grinder. If he can make that leap up to the National Hockey League, if he just grows even a little bit more, he could be a crucial penalty killer for this team. Now, when we drafted him in the 3rd round, he had somewhat halfway decent stats. Put up 43 points in his, he put up 20 points in his draft year. The next year, he did a little better. Then he did slightly better still. But last year, absolutely dominated for Flint in the Ontario Hockey League before making the jump to the 2nd line, I believe, of the Belleville Senators, where he is, again, dominating. Or he might actually be on the top line. I'm not 100% sure. But he is actually, for a low top 9 forward potential player, is actually one of the most interesting prospects we have, and one that I actually really can't wait to see. Another defensive prospect we have had in our system for a while is Rory Swanson, the 74 overall defensive defenseman taken in the 2nd round 3.5 years ago. He has a terrific shot, not the greatest puck control or passing or anything, but he's a big body. He's very physical. His defensive awareness is a little lower than I would like, but I'm sure that will come up in time. His shot blocking is absolutely phenomenal. Stick checking, absolutely phenomenal. His size is fine, 6'2", 210, so he's not going to be too clunky. He should be pretty easy to maneuver around the ice, so he should not be too bad of a prospect as well. He has 10 points in 30 games this year. He's in his 3rd season for Belleville, where he had 10 points the first year, 9 points last year, and he's on pace to over double his career high. So Rory Swanson, I feel like he should start growing more towards being NHL ready yet again. And if not, I do feel like his potential is going to drop to top 6D or maybe even 7th D if his game slips even a little bit. But if he has a strong finish to the season, can keep his numbers nice and high, I see no reason why he can't jump to 77, 78 overall. And he's another one, be a good depth defenseman. Moving on from Rory Swanson, we have Bennett Ludemann, who's another one. He's an interesting draft pick. The size of him, he is 6'5", 233 pounds. Bennett Ludemann, 72 overall, low top 6 forward potential. Another guy taken in the second. He was the last pick in the second round of the 2020 draft. He is a power forward center, halfway decent face-off guy. Not great speed, but he's a wicked shooter. He's actually a really decent shooter. Very promising young kid, 21-year-old. He had 15 points last year. He's only played 16 games this year because he did get injured. But he is putting up much better numbers this year, and I feel like he's going to grow a little better than he did last year, where I think he went from 71 to 72. The year before that, I think he went from like 66 to 71. And then last year, 71 only to 72. But if he can put up some points, if he can get some numbers on the board, I see no reason why he doesn't hit like 75 after this year and could very well be one of the top line centers for the Belleville Senators, which will exponentially help his growth. Moving on from him, we have Oliver Sooney. Oliver Sooney is a top 6 forward potential. Again, 21-year-old player, 4th round pick. 3.5 years ago, he's a right wing power forward, so he's not very big for a power forward, but he's got a cannon of a shot. He definitely needs to work on his puck control. His defense is absolutely great. His discipline is phenomenal. His durability is phenomenal. So I feel like we're not really going to have to worry about him getting injured too often. So looking at his advanced stats here from the Oshawa Generals in the Ontario Hockey League, the Quebec City Stallions really love drafting kids out of the QMJHL, kids out of the Ontario Hockey League. They do like to stick pretty close to home when it comes to where they get their players from, but Oliver Sooney just absolutely was phenomenal in the Ontario Hockey League. He put up 113 points, and then the next year put up another 86 points, but he missed 6 games due to injuries before coming to Belleville, where he does have 9 points in 25 games. His numbers aren't exactly where you want them to be, but there is a huge difference from playing in the OHL to playing in the AHL. You're playing less against children, more against young adults. So that compete level is going to be quite a bit higher. After this, we've got 70 overall, low top 6 forward, 20-year-old Wade Hoyle. Wade Hoyle is another one taken in the second round 2.5 years ago. He is a left wing, 2-way forward, could be a terrific penalty killing depth player for us in the future. He's only 20 years old, so he was 18 at the draft. I believe this is his first year in Belleville. I believe. Yes, first year in Belleville, and he has put up 11 points, 6 goals, 5 assists. He's a plus player. The Belleville Senators are having a phenomenal season. So I see no reason why he can't grow up to 73, 74 overall after this year, playing on that third line right now, and move up to, say, the second line on the AHL team, and then with one more really good year is going to be pretty much the top guy in the AHL before making the leap to the NHL probably at about 22, 23 years old. Now, getting down to some of the guys that aren't even signed yet or have very low overalls, but these are the most interesting guys to watch. We got Eli Henrik. Eli Henrik is a 67 overall, top 4 defensive prospect. He is 20 years old. A year and a half ago, taken 20th overall at the draft. He is a massive 2-way defender. His defensive stats, like his defensive attributes, are actually not as bad as they look considering he's only 67 overall. I think next year, if his overall can get to the 70s, even like 70 or low 70s, that defensive awareness, I believe, is right up to 80. His shot blocking and stick checking right up there with it. His speed should be up over 80. His puck control will be closer to 80. And that's the big thing, right? As soon as the puck control reaches 80, 81 overall, they stop fumbling the puck all the time, right? He's another one straight out of the Flint Firebirds of the Ontario Hockey League. He had a 30-point OHL rookie season. Last year had 22 points in 67 games. And this year is on pace for a career high, 33, 34 points, which is pretty good and should help his growth exponentially. And even farther down still, we have got Gage KOPSTALS, 63 overall, 18-year-old top 4 defenseman playing for the USA. So as soon as you sign this kid, he's automatically right on your AHL team. So we need to be mindful of that. We are going to need to keep him in the minors for as long as we can without losing him, so he can get as much growth in the minors as possible before we sign him. He was a second-round pick last year. So the draft that happened 7 or 8 months ago, it was 7 months ago, I think the draft happened. That's when we got him in the second round. I believe he was 60 overall, and he has grown to 63 in the U.S., playing on that top pairing. Last year, he had 27 points. He was a plus 28. This year, he's got 8 points, and he's a plus 1. So it looks like his physical game has kind of stepped it up a little bit. He is taking, I would say, just a couple more penalties than he did last year. I think he's shooting, he's shooting about the same. Actually, it looks like he's shooting maybe a little bit more, but his shot percentage might have gone down a little bit. It is unfortunate that when they are in the minors, you cannot see their advanced stats, but he is playing bigger minutes. He looks like last year he was a top 2 defenseman for the U.S. team that he plays for, but he looks like he wasn't on a lot of special teams time. Whereas now he looks like he's getting a couple more minutes a game, probably on more special teams, maybe on the number 1 penalty kill. He is a defensive defenseman after all. And 6'4", 208. So he's likely going to just get bigger and bigger before making his jump to the National Hockey League, where he is, I think by the time he gets up to the AHL, he very well is probably going to be like 6'5", 220, 222, something like that. He's going to be a big boy. Another 3 guys that we got in a row, starting with 18-year-old Derek Knight, who has 30 points in 32 games for the Peterborough Petes this season. He is 18 years old, has that top 9 forward potential, and that does not bother me at all. He was a second-round pick this year that just happened as well. We ended up with, I believe it was 3 second-round picks, 2 first-round picks. We had a lot. We usually have a lot of draft picks because the Quebec City Stallions organization is really good at growing players. That's the thing about these franchise modes. When you play every minute of every game, everyone's growth is better. Everybody's growth is exponentially better when you play every game. They pretty much, if you're actually playing as those people, they pretty much are gonna hit their ceiling, if not exceed their ceiling. 6'1", 189 pounds. He is a sniper, and if you look at the difference between his puck control, passing, stuff like that, and his shooting, this guy, and the fact that his slap shot accuracy and slap shot power are actually better than his wrist shot accuracy and wrist shot power, tells me he is a one-timer specialist. He is a true sniper. He's just not a high-end true sniper, but I truly believe that this guy could very well be a third-line left winger who could produce 20 goals a year in the NHL. After that, we've got Ronald Hill, the 5'9", 165-pound left wing playmaker, taken 31st overall in the draft that just passed. He is a very small guy, but that means he is going to be very agile, very fast. But it definitely looks like he could be kind of a walking injury magnet, which is something that you do kind of want to stay away from on your team. So he's one of those prospects that we have. He's playing phenomenally well. He has 35 points in 31 games for the United States. Last year, 41 points. This year, looks like he is on pace to, almost double that if he can stay healthy for the whole season and continue to grow as the season goes along. After that, we've got Arthur Wanvig, low top 9 forward potential, 18-year-old, 5'10", 180-pound sniping center taken in the 4th round that just happened. Now these guys are the ones that'll sneak up on you. He's playing in Liga. He's playing in a men's league right now. He's doing better than he did last year, and he likely will continue to do a little better even still. Playing in a men's league is going to mean his growth should be better than someone who's just playing in maybe the Ontario Hockey League, the Q, the WHL, the United States, you know, something like that. They're playing in an actual men's league. Generally speaking, their growth should be a little bit better. So he's one of these ones that I'd very much like to watch out for, and it's kind of rare for me to find sniper centers. For some reason, that doesn't seem to be something that you see a lot of. A very exciting prospect is defenseman Jackson Gorges. 5'10", 188 pounds, 20 years old, 60 overall, low elite potential defenseman taken in the 6th round this year that just passed in this draft. Discipline is not so great. Durability is not so great. Maybe they grow a little bit, maybe they don't, but he is a small, he's going to be quick. He is a two-way defender, and with that elite potential, I think his growth could be phenomenal. He's another one. He plays for Cuckoo in Liga, who is having just a much better year than he was last year. This is one of these prospects that is like a steal at the draft. You get this 6th round pick, 186th overall, and I think, if I remember correctly, he was 54 overall at the draft 7 months ago, and he is 60 overall now. So if he can have a phenomenal rest of the year, show tremendous growth between now and the end of the season, there's nothing stopping him from being 65, 66, 68 overall. There's nothing stopping him from just growing exponentially, spending one more year down in the minors. And you've got a guy taken in the 6th round who's 22 years old, who's almost NHL ready. Sheldon Venkateshan, 6'5", 210-pound, 19-year-old with low top 6 forward potential. He has 38 points in 32 games on the top line this year with the Saginaw Spirit. 7th round pick last year. 6'5", 210, and he's a two-way forward. Absolutely phenomenal prospect who, again, as early as the beginning of this season, I believe was about 55, 56 overall, playing so good with Saginaw. He is growing tremendously in the minors so far this year. There's nothing to stop him from being 63, 64 overall. Maybe if he can have a terrific season for the rest of the year here with Saginaw, what's to stop him from gaining medium top 6 forward potential to the point where maybe he could be a 2nd or 3rd line player in the National Hockey League in 3 years? When he's 22, 23 years old, he could very well lace up in the National Hockey League. Anyway, that is a comprehensive look at all of the up-and-coming prospects on our team. I think we have no problem at all when it comes to up-and-coming prospects. I think we've been very lucky at the draft. In later rounds, we have a couple of guys. But that's going to do it for this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did enjoy making it. So, like and subscribe if you haven't already. There's new videos coming every single day. And until next time, have a good one, guys.